Hello, I'm Ian Scales of TelecomTV, and today I'm talking with Paul Larbey, who is the president of Velocix, a division of Alcatel-Lucent. Paul and I are going to be talking about service provider content delivery networks. Paul, what is a service provider content delivery network, and why is it different from normal content delivery networks?
So I think to understand what a service provider CDN is, it's worth sort of stepping back a little and looking at sort of how the CDN market has evolved as a whole. So CDNs were set up a number of years ago as the internet started to scale and basically operated in the internet, if you like, as a way of providing scale for the delivery of websites on a global basis. So that if you built a website, you didn't need to build all the servers yourself to scale that for global delivery. You could outsource that to a third party. And companies in that space, the likes of Akamai, Limelight, Level 3, etc. And actually that's where Velocix as a company used to operate, and that's the sort of the history of the company, if you like. We used to operate in that global CDN space, offering a global CDN network to content owners around the world. And really how we've seen the market evolve and how Velocix as a company has evolved is basically making that shift from internet-hosted CDNs to CDNs which are really part of a service provider network. And that gives the service provider more control over how video is delivered in the network. It allows them to optimize the delivery of that media better within the network, and also it opens up a sort of few different business models. We've seen really the shift of CDNs from the internet to be deeply embedded within service provider networks, and that's exactly the same transition that Velocix have gone through as a company and where we focus today.
One of the changes we've seen, of course, has been a requirement for multi-screen video delivery, which is something that's different, say, 5 or 6 years ago. Can you explain that a little?
Absolutely. So if you look at how television has evolved, it's moving away more and more to us watching, video on connected devices, be those, tablets, smartphones, games consoles, now connected TVs. So really what we've seen is a transition of video from a sort of a broadcast media with a set-top box to very much a more personalized IP, using IP as the delivery mechanism for that video. And that's really where CDN technology, especially within a service provider network, fits very nicely. Because really they can use that CDN technology not only to sell CDN services, which is the more traditional CDN model, but basically as the heart of their video delivery network. So really powering delivery of video to any IP connected devices, irrespective of what that device is.
The CDN is actually a very important part of Alcatel-Lucent's strategy, isn't it? Could you tell me how you've kind of fitted in there?
The shift of video to more IP delivery, the shift of broadcast to more unicast delivery is something Alcatel-Lucent has been tracking for a while. And basically, when it came to looking at the CDN space, went through a series of evaluations. And one thing Velocix had already done was recognize that transition and had a number of service provider CDNs deployed even before the acquisition by Alcatel-Lucent in July 2009. So it was a very nice fit for the company. Since then, we've continued to expand. I think using sort of the innovation that Velocix brought as a small company, coupled with the global reach of Alcatel-Lucent. And it's really now, I think, key to Alcatel-Lucent's strategy in a couple of ways. Firstly, there's the high leverage network strategy, which across Alcatel-Lucent is all about driving down the cost of delivering bits and enabling service providers to monetize new services in a more productive manner, which is absolutely key to that's what Velocix is, that's what we do. We're all about driving down the cost of delivering video and also opening up new service provider business models. So it's absolutely key to that. But also key to sort of the general video and multimedia strategy with Alcatel-Lucent, because not only can we use the CDN to deliver video to connected devices, tablets, etc., we can also use the CDN network to optimize existing IPTV services. So as a company, we have a very large embedded base of media room IPTV deployments, and one thing we're doing is using the Velocix CDN to really allow the scaling of the delivering of video on demand for those existing IPTV deployments. So it's a perfect fit from a strategic perspective in sort of both dimensions.
And Paul, behind you is a network operations center underway. Can you tell me what's going on there and who's being serviced?
This is our global network operations center. We manage networks for a number of customers around the globe from here. And basically what it is CDN is new to a lot of service providers. It can often take them time to understand the technology and build up their operations team to be able to support that, and that can delay some services launches. So what we've been able to, I think, uniquely offer in the marketplace is using our previous experience from operating a global CDN is use the expertise, the tools and the people to do what we call build, operate, transfer. So we will build a CDN network for our service provider customers. We can operate it for a period of time, however long they would like that to be, and at a point in time when they are ready to take ownership and manage the network themselves, we offer what we call our transfer service, where we will sort of train their operations people and shadow their operations for a while until they're fully trained up and ready to manage the network themselves. And we're sort of unique in providing this in the industry, and a large part of the reason why we can do that is because of our history in terms of operating a global CDN.
One of the areas of growing importance is download stores, of course, and that's something that your CDN technology can tackle as well, isn't it?
The benefit of the CDN as a technology is it's a caching technology, so we can support sort of any media formats. We saw clearly a big pain point is video, but another one is sort of software updates to mobile phones, etc. So we have a number of customers who are using the CDN not only to deliver sort of video and video services, but also to support updates to mobile phones, etc. So it's really a sort of a multi-purpose network. And I think what we see with all our customers, they start on one particular point with one particular use case, and then very quickly it becomes the media delivery network for anything that's delivered over IP, be that software updates for mobile phones, be that optimizing their IPTV infrastructure, or some of the recent work we've done with Concurrent in terms of for cable operators, optimizing the delivery of their legacy video on demand assets.
And I know you're also using the technology to support Raspberry Pi, another Cambridge company. Can you expand on that a little bit?
We're very reliant here in Cambridge on computer scientists. It's good to see initiatives like that, which are all about stimulating education and bringing new sort of engineers into the marketplace. We sort of partnered with Raspberry Pi and offered our capability to deliver their software updates in their app store, and hopefully in a few years' time we'll be able to recruit some of the people who learn computer science on the Raspberry Pi devices.
Tell me, what sort of recognition are you getting for the technology?
In terms of sort of recognition in the industry, we've won a number of awards specifically around innovation. We launched a particularly innovative product at the back end of last year called our Eve, which is our enhanced video experience. And that's all about, now we're delivering the video over IP, how do we enhance the number of the services that you can offer and make it a better end user experience? So being able to do things like personalized ad insertion, program substitution, managing the content better as the network congestion changes, and doing things like speeding up the channel change time in an IP environment are all sort of part of that Eve. So we've won a number of sort of accolades and recognition awards around that. And in terms of customer traction, we're the number one in the service provider CDN market. Customers the likes of Time Warner, Verizon in North America, Oi in Brazil, Do in the Middle East, Orcon in Asia, and TalkTalk in the UK are just a small number of the total customers which are using Velocix to sort of change how they deliver video today. I
would have thought that download stores and the whole software updating process is becoming an increasingly important part of the business too. It's
definitely a market that we're still in, I think, the early stages of development, but it's definitely growing at an enormous pace. I mean, we have some pretty huge networks deployed today, in excess of 1.5 terabit in terms of capacity with some service providers. So it's definitely a market. It's definitely growing very fast. Been triggered, I think, largely in sort of North America due to some of the innovations in pay TV that have gone on in that market. But it's transferring very nicely to Europe, and we have some very large opportunities in Europe, which we hope to announce later this year. So it's sort of migrating, I think, and we're still very early on, but it's looking very promising, and I think we're in a good place to capture that.
Paul, thanks very much.
Thank you.